I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 156. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what I learned from Bob Proctor. And if you don't know who Bob Proctor is, he is a thought leader that just passed on February the 4th. He was 87 years old, based out of Toronto. He was featured on The Secret, and he really talks a lot about the law of attraction. And there's so many things that he said and so many things that I've learned from him. So if you ever get a chance, you can YouTube him, or you can find him almost anywhere. Or even if you want to just watch The Secret, you can see him in there. But he talked. There's certain things he said that just resonate with me. One of the things he said is everything is energy. And he said comparable vibrations attract one another. He would say that if you were to put your hand under a microscope, you would see things moving because your hand is energy. Everything is energy. And if and like attracts like. So if you have good energy mixed with good energy, then you're going to attract more good energy, right? If you have good energy, you're going to attract more good energy, I should say. But if you're watching negative news all the time, I call CNN constant negative news, right? I'm not one that watches the news a lot because I just don't need the negative energy. I need positivity around me all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't just be completely shielded from negativity, but you don't have to bask in it, if that makes sense. And I know some people, they just swim in negativity, and so it's no wonder why they're so negative, is because that's all they focus on. That's all they are in tune with. And for me, it's about positivity. So he also talked a lot about the way the brain works, the way the mind works, and that always fascinated me. I read a book that he wrote called Born to Be Rich, and it's a powerful book. One day, matter of fact, I'll unpack some of those things in there on some future episodes. But one of the big things that really sticks with me that he taught, that I learned, and by the way, I call him a mentor, but this is someone that I've never met. So, you've heard me say many times, I've got lots of mentors that I've met, but then I have tons of mentors that I've never met, and some I'll never meet because, like, for instance, Jim Rohn, he passed, but he's one of my favorite philosophers. Bob Proctor, one of my favorite people when it comes to the way your mind works, and there's so many others that I'm excited about gleaming from and learning from them. And so, again, one of the things he talks about is the way we talked about this on this podcast about the subconscious and the conscious, right? Your conscious mind is is really you, like, saying, hey, I want this or I want to do that. But your subconscious mind, that's working on autopilot. Even when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is still up, it's still going, it's still processing, it's still working. Even but your conscious mind would be sleep. And so the conscious mind is the one that says, hey, let's do this. And the subconscious mind is like, no, we're not doing that. Because the subconscious mind wants to protect you. It wants to keep you from risks. It wants to shield you. It wants to keep you on a routine or a cycle because It's the safe place. It's the comfortable place because we know if we do this, this is gonna happen. And if we do this, this is gonna happen. But if we do that, we don't know what's gonna happen. And that's scary, you know? And so the key to really having creating the success that you want is and by the way, we'll talk about how this relates to code freedom in a second, but the key, guys, is that if you can repetitively you know, put things from your conscious mind into your subconscious mind, then your subconscious mind will automatically say, because your subconscious mind doesn't know, um, it doesn't know what's real or not. It only knows what you feed it. And so I'll reference in the show notes a past episode that you can get some more information on what I'm talking about. But but just know that your conscious mind is going to be what feeds the subconscious. And once the subconscious gets it enough, the repetition, then it just starts to work on autopilot. The reason our subconscious mind um, is such on autopilot is because a lot of stuff that we do now is because of things that we've been watching, seeing, experiencing, believing, thought processes, ideas, things that we got as children, and now they continue to carry on in our adulthood. So he really dives deep into that. I mean, he's got a whole diagram for it, and I love it because it really helps you to understand how our brains work and how we can make it work for us instead of just going on autopilot and saying, "Hey, I know I'll need to do this, but why do I keep doing that? And I know I want this, but how do I get this?" Right? Those are some of the things that he talks about. So it's really sad to see him to go, but I know he lived a full life. And I'm excited about the legacy that he's going to carry. But it also had me thinking, right? Because you know, every time I think about people like that who had such impact. I mean, this is a gentleman who doesn't know me from Adam, right? I mean, I've never met him, but yet he's had that much impact on me that I'm talking about him on my podcast, right? And it made me think about what I want to do in the world. And I hope that you have a desire to make a mark on this world, to make a mark so that when you're not here, you could live forever simply because of your message, your voice, your legacy that you create. And that's key, guys, where people can be continuing to talk about ideas that you shared, things that you did that changed someone's life because you had that as a focus, right? Just the impact, right? Impact over income. When we talk about code freedom, it's not about the income, it's about the impact that you can have. Now, the income comes because of the impact, don't get me wrong, but the impact far lasts longer than the income because the impact is multi-generational, it's multifaceted, it transcends all of that. It's an idea that can carry on. And so, you know, I just wanted to maybe introduce to some who've never even heard of this gentleman. Maybe you may go on a quest to understand some of his teachings, and again, you got to understand it and process it, and if it's a good fit for your ideology, right? But for me, and of course, you can't take what everything that everybody says, of course not, but there's some ideas that he shares that are like spot on, that are profound, that are powerful. And one thing I loved is that he was a believer. He was definitely a believer. He read Think and Grow Rich every single day. That's one of the things he talked about. One of the things he mentioned that um, that was interesting is he says a lot of people talk about all the books that they've read, but how many books have you mastered? And that's something that I'm still working on because I do read a lot of books, and I like reading a lot of books because I like getting a lot of different ideas and being able to formulate my own ideas and create my own patterns of success from it. But but it's interesting, and it's also empowering to have that idea of mastering a book, like reading a book. I don't want to say you have to read it every single day, but at least what if there were a book that you read every month? What if there were a book that at least you read every year? And you were committed to mastery on a level that you became what was in that book, and you ended up becoming that in such a way that now you become a expert in that area that can now impact so many lives because of the mastery that you dedicated yourself to. That's where he was when it came to the Think and Grow Rich and to mind stuff, thinking stuff, law of attraction, uh, you know, uh, all those things and those ideas. So, hey, rest in peace to Bob Proctor. And I hope you guys get some value from this episode. And I hope you learned a little bit about just the way the mind works. The mind and the body, they vibrate. There's a vibration, and once you have a vibration that is a match, man, amazing things can happen. And so again, remember, everything is energy. Everything is energy. And so if I just left you with one tip, just two tips, I would say, is try to maintain a high level vibration at all times, even when you get bad news, even when things don't go the way you want it to go. Ask yourself, hey, what's good about this situation? This wasn't supposed to happen, but what's good about this situation? And how can it lead me? Because again, we have a choice. I know one thing he said in The Secret is that disease means that the body is at dis-ease, right? The reason why it's at dis-ease sometimes is because of our thoughts, right? Our thoughts become things. And so, that goes back to the old Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. And, that was one of his mentors. And so, I can go on this topic because I love it. And it behooves us to study and understand the way our mind works, because it is one of the it is the powerful uh, force that we have as it relates to being able to continue to get better. So, again, this is episode 156. I hope you enjoyed it. Screenshot this episode, tag me on any platform that you're on, especially on Instagram. And I look forward to celebrating you because you are on the path to freedom. And by the way, I didn't mention how this relates to freedom. Listen, it's about freedom of the mind. It's about, once your mind is free because you understand how it works, you can now put it to work for you. It's just like a computer. A computer has software. When you put the software into the computer and it has a hard drive, it's only going to reproduce what you put into it. Well, your brain is going to continually and repetitively produce what you constantly feed it. What you feed the most will become the strongest. So you want to continue to feed the positive, feed the faith and starve the doubt. Continue to grow yourself, continue to get better, continue to raise your vibration. For me, people say, hey, how are you doing? I'm incredible, man. I am better than I deserve. I mean, I stay on a high vibration because I want to continue to attract more good things into my life. And if I allow myself to uh you know to be in a lower vibration, then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to attract lower vibration stuff, and that's no bueno for me, right? And so anyway, again, this is my last time closing. I appreciate you guys for listening. My wife says I'm like a Baptist preacher. I got 5 closes. Well, this is the last close. God bless you all. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.